and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we are delving deep into the enigma that is North Korea. That's right, today we are getting acquainted with the Democratic Republic of North Korea and the world of Kim Jong Un as we discuss the top 10 scary North Korean mysteries. North Korea has often been referred to as a hermit nation. Little is known about what happens in this country other than small pieces of information Kim Jong Un wants us to know, which basically means there are plenty of secrets. Join me as we have a look at the more mysterious goings on and try and guess what on earth is at the bottom of them. Before we get into the video though, I want to remind you guys to stick around until the end when we will be answering some questions and comments from a previous video. Also, while you're down there, why don't you leave a comment on this video and like and share it. We'll love you. Thank you. Alright North Korea, what are you hiding? Coming in at number 10 we have the bulletproof train. Kim Jong Un's dad, Kim Jong Il, was thought to have died on the North Korean mystery train before being transported back to Pyongyang. Kim inherited the train, which he is said to use to slip in and out of China and Russia. What's inside the mystery train? Honestly, we don't know. From the outside it is unassuming, but it is rumoured to be filled with wine, lobster and karaoke. Coming into number 9 we have Kim's health. Kim Jong Un started his turn as dictator a lot thinner than he is now. Reports vary, but many say he has put on as much as 30 kilos, perhaps even more. He's gone missing for months on end, only to return looking bloated and yielding a walking stick. His ballooning weight and odd behaviour over recent years has led people to speculate that he could be suffering from a breadth of illnesses, including diabetes, gout, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, possible heart disease and psychological issues. Some even suspect that he has a sexually transmitted disease. The Western media heavily suspect that Kim is a heavy drinker and smoker who is thought to love fatty foods. Basically, he has a bad lifestyle. Why is this such a scary mystery? Well, in such a fragile state as North Korea, the death of Kim Jong Un would cause a lot of instability in an already tense region. American senior research fellows are actually genuinely really worried. Bruce Kleiner said, health conditions including of medicine, drugs can impact a foreign leader's decision making, and expected death or deliberation of a leader can cause instability in a country with potential consequences for United States and worldwide interests. What he's suffering from? We don't know. How this will affect his decision making? Guess we'll see. Coming into number 8 we have life outside the propaganda bubble. So right now press and tourists alike can visit North Korea, but they are heavily guarded by North Korean officials. Tours of Pyongyang are offered, but there are areas that photographers are banned from going, and only the veneer that one sees of the North Korean capital is basically of modernity. We don't know what's happening behind closed doors. There are ski resorts and water parks that tourists can visit, but if you stray off the beaten path you could end up in jail. We don't really know what goes on in the areas that tourists can't visit. From those who have escaped, it seems like a lot of people live in high-rise apartment blocks with no hot water and very patchy electricity. It's also said that because Pyongyang needs to appear pristine to the outside eye, if anyone has a dirty car, they'll be fined. Citizens must report purchases of radios and TVs. The authorities will make regular inspections to make sure that they're set to tuned in to only official programming. Coming into number 7 we have the sinking of the CHEONAN. In March 2010 a small South Korean warship was sunk off the coast of South Korea in the Yellow Sea, leading to the deaths of 46 people. The cause of the sinking is heavily disputed, and despite evidence pointing their way, North Korea has absolutely denied responsibility. The United States, UK, Canada, Australia and Sweden concluded that the ship was sunk by a North Korean torpedo, although this was dismissed by China and Russia. The findings caused great tension between the Koreas, and we still don't really know what exactly happened. Coming into number 6 we have North Korean prisons. What goes on in North Korean prisons is a very scary and dark mystery. The prisons are referred to by defectors as re-education camps, basically concentration camps. What exactly people are sentenced for, the judicial system and who is in jail is a total mystery. The DPRK government has released no information on prisoners or prison camps, and they have not allowed any access to anyone. While we don't know for sure, people say that the prisons are home to torture, infanticide and executions. Often when people are sent to prison in North Korea, they never return home. Speaking of these prisons, at number 5 we have what happened to OTTO WARMBIER. Honestly, We just don't know what happened to him. What we do know is that Otto, a 21-year-old student from the USA who was taking up a study abroad program in China, decided in the new year of 2016 that he wanted to take a tour of North Korea. He was arrested on the 2nd of January at the airport as he was about to fly away. Now, North Korea says that he was arrested because he tried to steal a sign, which is something the state media made him confess, likely though under duress. The last he was seen was in 2016 when he was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. He was returned to his family in the States in June 2017 in a coma. North Korean officials said that he was suffering from botulism, which is basically some kind of bacterial infection. When he was taken to hospital in the United States, no sign of the illness was found. Otto was in a persistent vegetative state and died 6 days after his arrival back to the US after his parents removed his feeding tube. We still don't know what caused him to be in such a state and if he ever really did attempt to steal a sign. Coming into number 4, we have Kim Jong Un's mystery wife. Honestly, this is a real mystery. Kim Jong Un has a wife called Ri Sol-ju, but we can't pinpoint exactly who she is and where she came from. She sort of pops up and then disappears and then pops up again. People say that Hyeon Sung-wol, Kim Jong Un's former singer girlfriend, was murdered and his wife was to blame. It's thought that she was among 12 performers killed by firing squad, and their immediate families were also made to watch and then were sentenced to hard labor as a result of the regime's crazy guilty by association rule. Now, Hyeon was originally a North Korean sweetheart known for hits such as I Love Pyongyang and my absolute favourite, Excellent Horse-Like Lady. It's a real hit. Some say that his mysterious wife, Ri Sol-ju, was to blame. She was reportedly married to Kim Jong Un in 2009, but then there came the mass execution that included his ex, and some say it was because she was jealous, so who really knows? Weirdly, other people say that his wife is Hyeon Sung-wol but rebranded so that people don't think that Kim Jong Un married a lowly performer. The singer did actually weirdly reappear at the Winter Olympics, but she looked really different, so honestly, who knows what's going on? I don't. Coming into number 3, we have the really sad disappearance of Megumi YOKOTA. Megumi was a 13-year-old Japanese girl who was abducted by North Korean agents. In 1977, she was stolen as she walked home from school and forced onto a boat. The reason was reportedly so she could help train North Korean spies into how to pass as Japanese citizens. North Korea did admit the abduction in 2002, but they say that she committed suicide in 1994 after suffering a mental illness. North Korea then returned what they said were her ashes, but after DNA testing they turned out not to be her ashes. Some say that she married a fellow captured South Korean national and he confirmed her death. But many critics say that actually his confirmation was simply reiterating the party line under threat and duress. It is widely believed in Japan that Megumi is still alive. Her parents have never accepted her death. Coming into number 2, a big question: what weapons do they have? It's a mystery. It's a big, terrifying mystery. Honestly, one of the scariest mysteries of North Korea is deciphering what weapons they actually have. We know that the Hermit Nation has been experimenting with nuclear testing despite being against UN regulations. They began, it seems, in 2006 when Kim Jong-il was in charge, and in 2018 it was suspected that his son, Kim Jong Un, tested a hydrogen bomb far more powerful than the one that obliterated Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We also aren't totally sure what intercontinental ballistic missile capabilities they have, so it's hard to know how real the threat of a nuclearized North Korea is. Some say their ICBMs can reach 13,000 kilometers away, which actually threatens basically the whole world other than Antarctica and Latin America. Others think that actually that's a massive overestimation. How are we supposed to prepare when we don't know if they can get us? Finally, very scary, so creepy, extremely ghostly, coming into number 1, we have the corpse ship mystery. This is one of the weirdest and scariest of them all. In November 2017, 28 boats filled with dead bodies washed up off the coast of Sakata, as well as a number of floating bodies found face down washed up on the beach. The bodies had pins that identified them as North Korean. It seems vessels filled with dead people have been floating from North Korea to Japan since 2013 and we're still none the wiser as to why. Were they defectors trying to flee, or is there something else going on? Either way, it's truly terrifying. So guys, that was the top 10 scary North Korean mysteries. Which of these scared you the most? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, should we do more mystery videos for other countries? I'd be all ears. Before we get out of this video, I just want to read some comments from one of our most recent videos, the top 10 scary NASA urban legends part 2. Ethan Wilson said, amazing video, but I doubt any of these were true, no offense. Oh, Ethan, none taken. Honestly, urban legends aren't always the most truthful. They're folklores, they're stories. Also, finding 20 scary urban legends about a modern scientific organization is quite a feat, so you're just kind of getting the tinfoil hat conspiracies there. With that one, I was mainly aiming for entertainment. TCT Luna said, I stopped watching at astronauts wear diapers. Honestly, probably fair. Ebony Perkins said, I could have sworn that Rebecca was a redhead. Either way, she's the best. Thank you. Yeah, I did used to have red hair like a year or so ago, but I grew it out and now it's like, I don't know, ombre-ish? What would you say? Should I get back the red hair? Let me know. So thank you once again for tuning into this video. Please do leave a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Also, do head on over and check out our Instagram at MostAmazingOfficial. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. I love a good mystery and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!